But right here in the United States, we have parts of the country that are really struggling to receive the gospel. And Bennington, Vermont is one of those places, and we're working to change that. And I call it the forgotten state, but it's not forgotten by everybody. It's not forgotten by you folks here. And we very much appreciate that. So I want to go through, I got a few slides here I want to run through, and I want to try to leave some time for a little bit of question and answering here. So I'll just go ahead and slide on through. We've had 4 baptisms so far this year. And I kind of want to tell you just a little bit about each one, because each one was kind of unique. Late last year, after I spoke in the fall of last year, we had a gentleman that was baptized. He had a storied past. A lot of things had gone on that led him to where he was, and he'd been baptized in the Baptist church in the past. And he said, we looked at the scriptures and said, yeah, you know, I see what you're saying, where my baptism was probably not correct. And he picked up on that very quickly. And he very soon obeyed the gospel, and but he was separated from his wife at the time. Since that time, his wife has flown back to Vermont from North Carolina, I believe it was. Flew back up, and she, of course, was not yet a Christian. She had a background in the Church of God. And, woo! Excuse me, a little bit of. She had a background in the Church of God, so kind of a little bit holiness type of thing, and we had some religious discussions, but hadn't specifically talked about obeying the gospel. Well, she was about to go help some friends, actually some neighbors of mine, move. And she took off, or she was about to take off, and she was in the, sitting in the van with me, waiting to leave for a trip to Oklahoma to help them move. And it was really the first opportunity that I had to actually really sit down and talk to her. And I asked her, you know, do you feel good about your baptism? And she looks at me and she says, no, I don't. Now, she's just about to take off. She's just about to leave for Oklahoma. And so okay, how do we deal with this? Because people are waiting for us. And we were kind of debating back and forth. What do I, should we wait till you get back? Should we go ahead and do it? And she kind of decided, I think I just want to wait until I get back and I'll take care of it. Well, I told her, you know what, that's fine. This is completely your call. But I want to tell you what, because she was living in a motel at the time. Her and her husband were both living in a motel. And I said, I had a Bible study with somebody, not just in the motel that you were in, but in the very room that you were in. And that person was very close to obeying the gospel and being baptized. I came down here, actually, the last time I spoke, and the gentleman passed away before I got back. I said, that happened in the very room you're in. And she said, okay, that's it. I'm doing it now. Just like that. So we told the people that she was going to help move, hey, we got to do this. We got to take care of this right quick. We did it, and that is, I have a laser pointer on it. Whoops, not that. There we go. Yeah, it does. Yay. Yeah. So that is her. Her name is Kiata, and her and her husband Dean are growing, but they are going to need a lot of prayers to continue that growth. Like I said, they have a very storied background, and the Lord can transform anybody, but this is going to be a real challenge for them. However, Kiki is what we call her. Her name is Kiata. We call her Kiki. However, she is also one of the things that I have been praying for so much. She is a evangelistic machine. She was bringing people to church before she was a Christian herself. She went when she helped out our neighbors down in Oklahoma. She went down there, and her husband got really bad sick in the hospital. She was going through the hospital, finding people to bring to church with her down there in Oklahoma. And I'm like, oh boy, Kiki, you got to get back up here. I need you up here. And she did make it up there, and she is responsible for this next person. Gwen is her name. She was reached by Kiki, and we took some time to study together to make sure she understood what she was doing, and now we have a new sister there as well. This is Alvin, and Alvin is an interesting story in that he just reached out to me via email, and he said, you know what, I need to get baptized. And sometimes you'll hear things like that. You're like, well, okay, let's study about it. Great, that's awesome. Let's get together. And so we did, and we opened the Bible, and he got it. He had read it for himself. And come to find out, he had been coming at 1 o'clock in the morning and sitting on the front porch steps praying. And so that was a very interesting baptism. However, this was, I guess, about 3 weeks ago now, and he hasn't been to church since. So definitely going to need some prayers with that. And this other one here is Jimmy, and he is the son of one of our members that I baptized several years ago, and he passed away just a few weeks ago. And before he passed, he said, I really want to see him obey the gospel. And he did. And all 4 of these people you see here are going to have challenges in their walk of faith. And that's really that really leads me into what one of my big philosophies of evangelism is. Because when you look at Matthew 28, you think about the Great Commission, right? Go into all the world, preach the gospel, And he says you do two things. You baptize them and you make disciples. Because it's one thing to be able to baptize people. It's another thing to be able to make disciples of those people that you're baptizing. And that is what my goal is. I don't want to just get somebody wet and have them never return again. And that is important for, first and foremost, their salvation. But it's also important for the growth at Bennington because, I consider myself kind of a firefighter in that, like, I want to put myself out of a job. I don't want to be needed as much as I'm needed right now. And the way that's going to happen is if I am helping to build up disciples, build up laborers, build up workers in the kingdom. Along those lines, I'd like to introduce to you Perez. I don't think Perez was around last time. Perez is so patient with the kids. He's awesome. But he comes from Ghana. And when he came over here, he was floored how few churches of Christ there are in America. He's coming into the Northeast, of course. He's not coming into the South. He's like, wow, I'm in this town and there's no Church of Christ in this town, because he's down just a little bit south of us. And then he comes up into Bennington and wow, okay, there's a church here, but it's really small. It's not what I'm used to. And so it occurs to me, well, it's finally happened. We're sending missionaries from Africa into the United States to help out. Folks, that's a big deal, right? That's a big deal. This is happening right here in what's supposed to be the most Christian country in the world. But our brother here, Perez, has proved to be a huge asset to the work. He's always up for anything for helping out. His problem is he may only be temporary. The government is going to want him to come back. He's teaching at a college now, which is going to extend his visa at least through the end of this year. But we're hoping and praying he can stick around. As part of that, we gave him the honorary title of international minister in hopes that the authorities that be can kind of look at that and say, okay, well, he's important. He's needed around states. So, but we don't know if that's going to be able to help his cause or not. But it's great to have him. It's great to have him with us right now. So please pray for that area. All right, so just going to go through a few of the things that we're doing, some of the activities we have, some of the events that we're holding, and just a few happenings, and then I'll try to leave some time for some questions and answers here. So one of the things that we've been working on is this monthly or semi-monthly devotionals in people's homes, and this has been going really well. We're really enjoying this. We're getting good turnouts from it. We have, I keep forgetting I've got this one over here. We have game night once a month. This is where Dean, the gentleman there in the orange, first time he ever came to Bennington was through a game night. So, these little events, we are reaching people, we are making contacts through this. I love this picture. I love this picture. This is our Ladies' Day. Look at how many ladies we had. This is several congregations, several states represented here, and quite a few of our own number that were in attendance. This has grown every year, and Sarah works hours upon hours getting this all set up and going, and we have several other ladies that help with it too, and I'm tickled to pieces how much this is growing, and we've had some really good speakers that have given some really great lessons. And another big success that we've had is our community cookouts. And you know, I mentioned before how important it is for me and my family to not be the only ones working, you know, that other people are involved in the work. And we're getting there. We have, we still have a long way to go, but this is a really good example. Dean is a cook by trade, and he took over this headlong, did a really good job with it. To pull it off, still needed a lot of support from me and Sarah, but we got it done. A lot of people were included, and this is the kind of thing that I'm wanting to see more and more. When it comes to goals for 2026, this is the kind of thing that I want to see. Other people working, other people involved in the work. But that went really well. Had a whole bunch of community contacts with this. It went very well. Men's breakfast, and this is one that I don't have anything to do with at all, which is wonderful. The guys have been cooking breakfast, and I just show up and eat. And for me to be able to go to a church event and do nothing but eat is incredible. I do not get to do that very often. We have, I think this is two separate meals, actually. This is, whoops. I have moved the little, the little knob fell off it. There we go, thank you. Okay. Okay, so this is Bob, and I think this is two separate breakfasts, and he has the same expression on his face both times. So this is Bob. Bob does not like to have his picture taken, as you can see, but I made him. And so you can tell he's having a great time. Absolutely thrilled. No, but this is going really well as well. Upcoming events. This will be our first gospel meeting in many, many, many years. I think at least 12 years since we've had a gospel meeting. And when we get back, we'll be having this meeting with Brother Scott Huff out of Tennessee. And if you've never heard Scott speak, I'd highly recommend it. He did a archaeological talk for us last year that was just exceptionally well done. And he's going to be holding a Friday through Sunday meeting for us. Really hopeful for a real good turnout with this. So please be praying for that. So another thing that we've been doing, this is one of our members. We had a monthly devotional at their house, and our brother here was on hospice and passed away, I guess about a week after this was taken. He is actually the third person that I've baptized in the last 5 years or so that has passed away. And that is that's a testament to the age group of some of the people that we're reaching. And it's also adds to the challenges of trying to grow when your population keeps dying. But we're so thankful that he put on Christ like he needed to, and that he's not dealing with the pain anymore. And we're also so thankful we were able to do this devotional at his house before he went. Okay. So the work there is definitely a family affair. We all work. Last year I talked about how important Sarah was to the ministry, and it's still so true. I could not do half of the things that I do without Sarah's help with this, and we're getting the kids involved as well. I think the weed eater might have been just a little bit much for him, but he was a trooper with it. But we work together on it. We are a team. We're a team as a congregation. We're a team as a family, and we make things work. And as you can see, work really well. And of course, what do we need? Somebody says, what do you need? What we need most of all is people. And you don't have to be some majorly talented at something. Just your presence is welcome. Just having people recognize that there are other Christians out there, that they're not alone. Not just that there's not other Christians, but that there are sound people that love the Lord, that believe in showing up to church every Sunday, every time, that participate when there's activities, that genuinely love the Lord and love his church. And that's what we need more of, because we are a culture where church is kind of seen as an optional thing. And you can come to church if nothing else is interfering, if you don't have anything more important to do. Well, church is up there with the most important things, not the most important thing. And it's so valuable to have, to get to see other people that put the Lord and his church as the number one priority. Look at that beautiful sign there. Isn't that a nice sign? Yeah. We have you guys to thank for that. You also notice the van there. We have the Henderson Church of Christ out of Henderson, Tennessee, to thank for the van. They donated this van, and as I mentioned, I believe it's so important for people to get to experience other Christians outside of our teeny tiny bubble, to get to experience events at other locations. And keeping in mind, our congregations, you can't just go down the road 5 or 6 miles and find another congregation. You've got to usually travel a good hour to at least to get to another place. And having this van is going to be, or already is, so valuable in helping us with that kind of thing. It is expensive to run. It does drink gas, but we are so very thankful for it. And also with that, I want to kind of talk about some of the goals for 2026. And one of those goals is using this van a lot in our evangelistic efforts. We're already using it quite a bit. One very tentative plan is that we're hoping this coming year to get a group down to come to polishing the pulpit. That would be just spectacular, because nobody up there, very few people up there have ever seen more than just a handful of Christians together at one place. And so to see several thousand is just remarkable. So there's that. And of course, the other major goal is to continue to find people's niches, find where they belong in the congregation, and have them fulfilling those roles. Have them find out, where is your ministry? Where can you best serve? And jump in there without any help from me or anybody else. Just jump in there, make it happen, and grow the congregation together. And again, I'm seeing those things happen, and it's really, really a beautiful thing, because we are growing. We are we are most definitely growing. Now, the thing is, and as far as my workload goes, as we grow, we get I get more help. And I've showed you some of that today. I genuinely get more help, but at the same time, the more people we have, the more issues we have. And so just on a day-to-day basis, I'm having to put my, we'll call it counseling skills to the test. And I'm dealing with a lot of things that I've never been officially trained for. Marriage counseling, spiritual counseling, suicidal issues, medical issues, drug use, alcohol use, people dealing with trouble with the law. This is a part of the country that has really put God second place at best for a very long time. And righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach on any people. And I think we're seeing the results of some of that. There's a lot of people that have a lot of struggles, and so as my workload decreases, it also increases in other ways. And so my third goal in 2026 is to be able to find a good balance where I'm making sure my family doesn't get neglected while out saving the world. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close with that part. Any questions or comments from here? Mm-hmm. 25. But that is highly variable. 20 to 30, so cut it right in the middle of 25. Um, yeah, and you think about what is considered to be unfaithful. Um, you know, because we are an older congregation, you know, it's not for me to judge. Well, okay, you were sick. You know, should you come? Shouldn't you come? Okay, your big toe was hurting. Uh, um, you know, it's a matter of trying to establish a culture of yes, attendance is important. Um, um, and, and yeah, but yeah, 25 is a good round number. Yeah, it's basic. Bennington is a decent sized town, but it would still could be considered rural. Um, uh, there is some industry, but there's a lot of complaints in the area about there's not a lot of good jobs. Uh, we're one of those towns that they built a bypass. And ever since they built the bypass, a lot of people complain, well, we don't get the traffic through downtown, and so there's not a lot of not a lot of industry happening, not a lot. Uh, uh, yeah, but I would still classify it as rural or semi-rural, and it has a lot of rural areas surrounding it as well. And you know, that's another one of the challenges is that over the last few years, we're really starting to make contacts in the city of Bennington itself, which is a really good thing. It's where we need to be making contact, where the congregation is located. But traditionally, so many of our members have been 30 minutes one way, 45 minutes another way, an hour another way, and you know that makes the ministerial side of it very difficult when everybody is so scattered out and everything, and also makes it a little more difficult with the attendance in a culture where attendance isn't really considered to be a high priority. But as far as the actual what the jobs are, it's kind of mixed. It's a lot of retail. It's a lot of there's several factories in the area, logging, maple syrup, of course. Sing for your supper, yes. Yes, Sing for your supper. Yeah, we go every month to Sing for your supper. It's tonight, so we're going to miss it. It's too far even for us for tonight. But yeah, they're about an hour away. There is one in New York, Clifton Park, that I think from our house we can get there in like 45 minutes. Right? So I think that is the closest one that is not non-institutional. Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that because I've talked about it a lot in the past, but I haven't talked about it much today. Of those 4 baptisms I showed you, 3 of them are living in a motel, so essentially homeless. There's a little bit of a dichotomy in the area where you do have some people that have a good bit of money, but then there's a huge population that are living in tents in the summertime. The government puts them up in the winter, and going along with that, there's a lot of drug use. There's just kind of a lot of substance use in general. Because there aren't an awful lot of high-paying jobs, that is definitely a struggle, and it's a struggle. But those are also the people that we want to be reaching out for. When Brother Ard was doing the house-to-house, heart-to-heart, that was the areas that we tried to focus on. Was okay, this part of town, really struggling, really rough area. Let's hone in on those places. We're finding that mail-outs just have not yielded as much results as we would have hoped. There was some, but not as much as we would have hoped. I'm finding more and more Facebook to be a really good resource. I've always felt like it was good to have in the background, but more and more people are finding out about things that are happening through Facebook. And I just got a notification this week, actually, that Facebook said, because you've got such good content going on, we're going to increase your scope that we're showing things to. So, all right. So, even better. Yeah, so I don't know if that really fully answers the question or comment, but yeah, there is an awful lot, and there's an awful lot of people that are stuck in a cycle of, well, you can't make enough money to get out of the hotel or the tent that you're in, and so you've got to make, so you can't work as much as you would otherwise, and well, that means there's more drug use involved, and more drug use involved means you can't further get out of the situation. There's just kind of these cycles, and I'm dealing with this with a lot of people that are really, really stuck in a cycle, stuck in cycles of bad relationships, and this isn't unique to New England. This is things that go on everywhere. I just, without having elders, I get to see almost all of it, and it's a lot. It's a lot. Number one, exactly what you're doing. You guys have been such a huge encouragement. And you see the baptisms up there, and you guys had a part in that. You guys are making it so that I can be. Besides that, like I said before, the big one, come and see us. Come the fall. This time of year is gorgeous, and we're in a drought right now, but even in a drought, it's still really pretty. Come up, think about spending your vacations up there. We can, if you want to work, we can put you to work. If you don't want to work, if you just want to spend your time relaxing and come to church with us on Sunday, that's great too. And me and Sarah love to play tour guide of the area. And of course, first and foremost, please be praying for us. I know that goes without saying in a lot of ways, but how many times have I said, well, I'm praying for you, and then, well, did I really remember to pray when I said that? If we can remember to keep us and the work, these new Christians that I've talked about, keep them in your prayers, keep the specific people in prayers. That's just, it does more than you know. All right. I think that was the second bell, right? Okay. Well, thank you all very much for your kind attention. I will try to fix this clicker that I broke.